Good morning, YouTube people. It is I, the Grateful Recovering Addict, bringing to you another segment of Hypodermically Speaking, Confessions of a Spoon Cooker, Pardon That Recovery. Today's December 4th, 2021. It's been a while since I recorded a video for reading the daily reflection, but that's what I feel like doing today. So, without further ado, the title for today's reading is Into Action. AA is more than a set of principles. It is a society of alcoholics in action. We must carry the message, else we ourselves can wither, and those who haven't been given the truth and die. Hold on, I can't see nothing. So today's reading is titled Into Action. AA is more than a set of principles. It is a society of alcoholics in action. We must carry the message, else we ourselves can wither, and those who haven't been given the truth may die. Okay? I desperately wanted to live, but if I was to succeed, I had to become active in our God-given program. I joined what became my group, where I opened a hall, made coffee, and cleaned up. I had been sober about 3 months when an old-timer told me that I was doing 12-step work. What a satisfying realization that was. I felt I was really accomplishing something. God had given me a second chance. AA had shown me the way, and these gifts were not only free, they were also priceless. Now the joy of seeing newcomers grow reminds me of where I have come from, where I am now, and the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. I need to attend meetings because they recharge my batteries so that I have light when it's needed. I'm still a beginner in service work, but already I am receiving more than I'm giving. I can't keep it unless I give it away. I am responsible when another reaches out for help. I want to be there, sober. Okay. Okay, so into action. Into action, right? That means you got to act. You have to do something. You can't just expect it to be done for you, given to you, handed to you. You have to do it yourself, right? So this guy's saying he wanted to live, but if I was to succeed, I'd become active in the God-given program. So yeah, you know, the whole point of AA. Like, I got 2 years, right? I'm not bragging or nothing, but I got 2 years. So your thinking changes. Like he got 3 months when he wrote this. I got 2 years. Your thinking changes the more time you give yourself a distance from your drinking your drug. You know, like, I'm not out of the woods yet, so, but the program, right? So at the beginning of my recovery, when I took it serious this time around, I would go to, maybe 2 or 3 meetings a day for a while. Then later, life happens. You have to go to work. You have other things happen, but you can't forget, like they say, where you come from, right? It says, now the joy of seeing newcomers grow reminds me of where I've come from, where I am now, and the limitless possibilities that lie ahead. So I was going to meetings, a lot of meetings in my early recovery. That's how it helped me. I went to a lot of meetings. I read a lot of the books, the literature, and it also helped too. I was living in a sober house. I just got out of the rehab. So that was the environment I was in. I made sure I stayed in that environment and exposed myself to more and took it serious. The will to prepare is nothing without the will to win, right? So I put in a lot of action to get where I'm at these 2 years, clean and sober. Maybe like one hiccup on the road. If you watch my other videos, I'm not gonna get into it. But there's no relapses, right? So 2 years, clean and sober, no days off, no breaks, no vacations. So I went to meetings. I was in the halfway house. I live in a sober house now. Still go to meetings whenever I have a chance, because like I said, life does happen. It's life on life's terms, so I have to pay rent to live here. I have to pay for food to eat here. I have to pay the courts and the debts I owe, right? Otherwise, they're gonna make life more and more difficult. So I have to put into action my whole basically. So this is the stuff that I took for granted when I was younger. When I was younger, I would go to school thinking that I'd make my parents happy if I get good grades. So subconsciously, I was learning, so I retained this information. I remember certain stuff, but that was my train of thought. That go to school, make my parents happy, maybe later I get like a toy or whatever, right? Rewarded for it. Didn't stop to think that I'm doing this for me. So the whole time I was doing stuff taken for granted. That's where I learned this time around. I'm doing my best to remember not to take things for granted. Recently, I had a friend, an old friend. His wife was sick, so he made a GoFundMe thing. So I donated some money, but it was titled "Don't Take Things for Granted." Or it was something titled like that. So don't take things for granted. You gotta go into action to make the moves you want to see happen. You have to. If you don't go out and change things, right? Then I guess if you have something in your life that you want, right, and if you don't go out to get it, I guess it doesn't matter as much because you didn't went out to make those moves to make it happen. Now, what I'm saying, make moves. I'm talking about positivity stuff. I'm not going out there and be like, oh, I want $1,000,000. I'm gonna go hustle and get this $1,000,000. No, I'm talking about I want to live comfortably. Okay, so you gotta figure out what you gotta do. You're gonna have to have place, money, some kind of career. So this only applies to positivity and everything that's legal and everything that's basically right and everything that's appropriate. Okay, so if you want to live a life, you want family, you want to have a job, you want to have, you're gonna have to start somewhere. You have to lay a foundation down. So if you didn't go to school, you don't know how to do what you want to do. You gotta go learn that stuff. And if you gotta pay for it, then guess what? You're gonna have to go get a job. So this is the people that it's all about thinking ahead, like playing the tape. You have to logically have a logical approach to this. If you're in a sound body and mind, especially mind, you're able to rationalize and think this through. Otherwise, you have to go talk to a counselor, a parent, adult, a guardian, somebody that you trust that can help you with this, and hopefully they can help guide you through this. You basically have to be realistic. Like if you're a kid and you say you want to be an astronaut, it's not impossible. You could definitely be an astronaut. If you're a kid thinking already at that age you want to be an astronaut, you have enough time to do everything possible to become an astronaut. It can be done. Don't let anybody tell you different. It's just that we have to remember that the time lapses. So if you're young and you never know what you want to be, and then you're in your teens and you still don't know what you want to be, and then you're high school, you still don't know what you want to be, and then whether or not you go to college or not, you still know what you want to be. You wasted all that time, never at least entertaining the idea of what you want to be. You never called into action to figure out what you want to do. Maybe along that time you have mastered certain skills, but unless you put them into action, they're worthless. They don't do nothing, So, but in regards to recovery, I've accumulated clean time, right? I've read the Daily Reflection. I've read the other literature, the Big Step book. Not only AAs, it's NA. I live in a sober house. I was in a halfway house. I still maintain contact. Whatever I want to say, whatever I want to justify, whatever X, Y, Z, I still need to call to action. I gotta stop taking things for granted. I have to appreciate the fact. And I'm gonna tell you a story. Like yesterday, right? I was scheduled to work at 10 o'clock. They called me, said to come in for 7. I work. I do what I have to do. I don't like calling out. I don't like making up a story why I can't come in. But I knew at the end of the day, if this might benefited me. I'm not saying to do this, but I'm giving you an example of what I did. I didn't go into work. Why? Because it would have did not benefit me in any way. Not to say that like I'm calling out to work anytime I want because it doesn't benefit me. No. This particular reason didn't make sense because my shift was I run the shift to cover the trains, right? They told me it was canceled, so there's no trains coming in. But they still asked to come in for 7, help the other guys close up the cars. Now, normally that would have been fine, but if they have like 8 guys up there, they would have been done by the time I got up there. So I knew that already, and they did, because they texted me saying we're done. So, but I made up a story saying the car wasn't, we had car issues. Rather than explain over the phone, hey, listen, they have it covered, I'm not going to make it up there, because that wouldn't have just looked well. But at the end of the day, I know that's what they think. I know that's what they realize, because they did take care of it, they got it done. But I hate making up those lies. But I had to call into action basically a plan, because otherwise it would have been me and my buddy driving up there about 45 minutes one way to do less than an hour's worth of work and come back. Now it's different if we'd have gone, compensated for the work, like, used to be a time where you show up, you get paid 4 hours regardless. If you did less than 4 hours of work, I don't know. And I wasn't trying to find all that out because there was a whole bunch of other stuff going on too. You know, I had one guy call out for my shift, another guy, they told him not to come in. So it was just a whole hectic thing. So I was just like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this right now. I'm gonna call into action for my personal peace. Just like I'm not gonna be able to make it in today. But I have a situation where I live with the guy who I work with at the house sober house, so I have to think things through a little bit. So whether or not you agree with me on this, I did what was best for me. I still haven't seen how this is gonna shake out. Maybe I'll be called out on my nonsense, but I still made my choice. I called into action, and I was able to sleep last night. I was able to wake up today, take care of a couple things that I need to do in time. Looks like it's really cold outside. They're saying it might be snow in Hawaii, but you gotta call into action. You gotta be smart. Sometimes you do have to take a risk. I try to minimize any risk. I don't want to take risks, unnecessary risks. You know, but stay positive. You have to stay positive anytime you do anything, because this way it'll go better. You know what I mean? So with that being said, you know, call into action, December 4th, daily reflections, AA, stay positive, always.